The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. Well, we're just about through another show season here in New England after this past weekend stop in Providence. We have one more show on the schedule, the Mass Striped Bass Association's annual Sport Fishing Expo, set to take place April 2nd and 3rd in Hanover, Mass. I'll have more details on this show as we get a little bit closer, but in the meantime, you can always check out both the printed as well as the online calendar events listing for the most up-to-date current details on all the happenings going on in your area. All right, moving on into the reports this week. We're going to start off, as always, in Connecticut, where safe ice is all but a distant memory at this point in time, unfortunately, but Connecticut fishermen are instead turning to open water angling. Got a nice picture of a 7+ pound, 23.5-inch trout hauled up from Crystal Lake on a rooster tail this past week, sent over from Gary at Connecticut Outfitters. Now, I do want to let you know that trout regulations change as of the final day of February, so be sure to check your local pond to see what restrictions are in place, as some lakes are allowed catch and release, some of the trophy lakes allow continued fishing, so just be sure you verify what the status is on the water body you plan to fish if you're targeting trout this month. I also got word from Andrew at Fishin Factory 3 that the pike are already in their ice-out locations along the Connecticut River. Now, this is a great opportunity to not only land your largest pike, but also to do it from shore, as a lot of these spots that they target this time of the year are in those real close to shore, accessible spots by the shore-bound angler. I do, however, urge you to practice catch and release on this fishery, as the fish are in these locations, but because they've moved into that pre-spawn mode. And now moving on over into Rhode Island, let's talk about cod fishing. Well, what cod fishing, I should say. While we're not seeing the usual snow and cold associated with New England winters, we are instead, in its place, seeing steady winds on the cod grounds, which oftentimes end up doing more damage than those quick-passing snowstorms. And due to this, I haven't really talked to anyone that's been out in a few weeks, but when things do finally level out, and they will, we should see some pretty solid action on basically what equates to untouched fish, as nobody's really been hitting them for quite a few weeks now. And lastly, moving on up into Massachusetts, trout fishing has been excellent on the Cape, according to the guys up at Goose Hummock Shop. And speaking of which, Dana Jones, manager of the shop, nailed a really nice brown trout this weekend after sneaking away for a little fishing time after running the gauntlet of shows for the last few weeks across the region. So congrats on a great catch. All right, well, there you have it. I am Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.
The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint.